with integrity, with an open mind, and I know all of us will be thoughtful in our deliberation as we decide on who will fill this seat on District 2. Just for the record, I want to let everyone know that there is no front runner, that there is no favorite. We will be deliberate in our deliberations. We will be thoughtful and mindful in our deliberations. To think otherwise is an insult to myself and to my colleagues. We are taking this extremely serious. Do we want to be here in this position? No. We would love to have our colleague here with us, but we are here and the law dictates that we fill her seat. And as I speak of the law, I would like to turn it over to our Commission Counsel, Felicia Johnson, to explain how we are here under this process to proceed in this manner. Felicia, are you here?
Good morning. Yes, I am.
Good morning.
So through the chair, as indicated, state law, which is MCL 46.412 and the county charter require that this body, the Wayne County Commission, appoint an individual to fill a vacancy in the office of commissioner within 30 days. State law determines that the individual appointed shall serve for the entire unexpired term for that seat, which in this case will be ending, it's a 2-year term. The state law further says that if this body neglects its duty and does not fill that space, that seat within 30 days, then a special election is called. However, if this body does so within 30 days, again, that individual will fill the seat for the unexpired term, and that is consistent and pursuant to Michigan law, as I've already provided the commissioners. So the county commission has set up a process whereby it has accepted applications, and this is the committee time where the commission will then go through those applications to fill the seat as required by law.
Thank you, Felicia. And just to reiterate, the application period was for 7 days, December 21st to December 28th. Again, we had 15 applicants. We narrowed it down to the 9 that will be interviewed on today and tomorrow. So on the committee, as was indicated through roll call, are the chairs of our standing committees. We have Vice Chair of the Commission, Joseph Palomero. We have Ray Basham, who's the Chair of Audit. We have Irma Clark Coleman, who is the Chair of Public Safety. And we have Alona Varga, who is the Chair of Ways and Means. So with all of that stated, and I'd also like to acknowledge that all commissioners were invited to participate, because I think it's very important that they observe these interviews as well, so that they can get a feel for all of the candidates that have made it to this point. So without further ado, we will go to our first interview for today. And that person is Mr. Willie Burton. Mr. Burton, are you here, sir?
Yes, greetings. How everyone doing this morning?
Good, how are you, sir?
Great, great.
I'm going to fix my little screen here so I can see you nice and well. And at this point, it is 10:08, and we will begin our interview with you, sir. Let me first thank you for coming. Thank you for putting yourself out here to continue to serve the people of District 2. We appreciate that, because it's so important that we serve our constituents and serve the people here in the city and in the county, and to put yourself out there is no small feat. So we appreciate you doing that. And with that, I am going to begin by asking you to take 2 to 3 minutes to tell us about yourself, sir.
Thank you. I'm Commissioner Willie Burton, Detroit Police Commissioner, the youngest elected police commissioner in the country. I was 34 years old when I first took office. I'm currently in the end of my second term, which is a 4-year, each term is 4 years with the police commission. I started the mental health task force, partnered with Wayne State University. It's actually one of the largest mental health task force right now, currently in the state of Michigan. Started at the same year that Officer Glenn Goss, a police officer in number 7, was the same year that he was killed in the line of duty. That same year, we probably have lost about a good 5 or 7 officers in the line of duty due to this mental health crisis that we have right here in Michigan. Also partnered with Wayne State University and SBA on working with our youth and young people, getting more young professionals into the role of entrepreneurship. And lastly, senior citizens over the years always, wanted to feel safe. And so one of the things I've done was I worked with former State Rep Mary Waters, worked many years with Honorable late Jewel Ware. The 3 of us came together. We brought Project Greenlight to senior citizen buildings, was something that I spearheaded. We wanted to get 3 layers of government involved, myself as a city official, as a police commissioner, Mary Waters as a former state representative, and then also Honorable late Jewel Ware from the county level. And so when Greenlight first started, I was one of 11 commissioners that voted for Project Greenlight, by the way, which is very historic for the time that it started in Detroit, and now that every other city, major city, wants to adopt something similar. And so one of the components was we didn't have, senior citizen complexes or municipal or recreation centers was excluded. And so one of the things I said to myself is that we need to be able to get this in senior citizen buildings, because seniors wanted to feel safe, just like someone, feels when they go and gas up at night at a gas station. So we was able to fulfill complete our mission and fulfill our goals as far as accomplishing that. So within 4 months from the time we came together on collaboration on this project, the first senior citizen building to go up Greenlight was 1401 Shane, which is in the midst of our district. In fact, as a sitting commissioner now on the police level, I have the largest portion of the late Jewel Ware's district. And so we was able to get Greenlight in other buildings as well, senior citizen buildings like Friendship Meadows, for instance, and Parkview Place. But the first recreation center to go Greenlight was a recreation center on the west side.
Okay.
That was out of the district. I was hoping that it would have been Comian Recreation Center. But it was, yep.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Burton. Your next question will go to from Vice Chair Palomero. Vice Chair Palomero.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Commissioner Burton, for your interest in joining the Wayne County Commission. Mine is a 2-part question, kind of related though. First, what do you believe are the most important qualities and characteristics that a Wayne County Commissioner should possess? And secondly, what do you believe are a Wayne County Commissioner's most important job duties and responsibilities?
Good questions. One of the main characteristics is we got to push for, you want someone to be honest and have integrity in these roles, in these positions. That's really going to serve the public, the people. Another thing is I've been fighting for transparency from the time I first took office, and so we want someone that's going to not only do their job but do it well, and that's what I plan to do.
And how about the most important duties and responsibilities? Are you familiar with the Commission's duties and responsibilities?
Yes, absolutely. I've looked at your charter. You know, I looked at, I even seen your bylaws. Once upon a time, I worked with Commissioner Martha G. Scott in 2015. I was an aide of hers in 2015 for about 9 months approximately.
Thank you, Mr. Burton.
Thank you. Next, we'll go to Commissioner Irma Clark Coleman.
Thank you, Commissioner Burton. Thank you for being here today.
Great to see you. Thank you.
So you did talk about Greenlight, that you worked with Commissioner Jill Ware on, but describe some other examples of community involvement, significant community involvement, in which you partnered with Commissioner Ware in District 2.
Well, thank you. I would say that we worked together on a lot of different projects. The moment I became a commissioner for District 5, on the city level is District 5, but for the county is District 2. One of the things I reached out to Honorable Jill Ware was working with our seniors. So one of the things we did was we put on a lot of different programs for our public safety with our senior complexes in District 2. A lot of seniors has a lot of different concerns far as when it comes to safety. And so one of the things I looked at was who was the neighborhood police officer for that area. So we come in and we do a public safety forum in each and every one of the buildings. But more importantly, we answer as many questions that we possibly can. And then the questions that takes a little bit more time, we try and get those answered, within 48 hours. Because some of the concerns may take picking up the phone and just reaching out to other offices. But Project Greenlight was one of the biggest components that we have done for us to provide safety to senior citizens. And so right now with Project Greenlight, we have an officer that comes to those buildings, sign the book when they come in, but they actually spend a little time in those buildings, talking with administration, talking with seniors, but they also make rounds. But one of the beautiful things about Project Greenlight is the virtual control that our officers are able to do as well. So just say if an incident occurred on an elevator or something of that nature, and or on one of the floors in the senior building, and it's nothing for our officer at headquarters to be able to go ahead and view the footage and roll it back. But we also can hear audio. So not only do we see video, but the officers can also pick up audio sound on those elevators and also on the floors. But seniors wanted this, and so we wanted to make sure that they was able to opt into the project instead of being excluded. Before, Greenlight was just something for party stores and gas stations. We wanted to make sure that seniors had the opportunity to feel safe as well. And so it is a beautiful program that's actually working in our senior complexes. Number of senior buildings are trying to opt in right now as we speak, but right now we are in several senior citizen buildings across the city. Okay. Another project would be the mental health task force that I partnered with Wayne State University. I remember calling the Honorable Lake Jill Ware one day and asked her, because I know she has a degree in social work, and so asked her, could she come and participate and share her expertise, her knowledge, wealth of knowledge. And so we met over at Wayne State. We met with Dr. Erin Carr-Martin in the School of Social Work. And from that day, that's when the project was birthed or put together. At the time, it was a another Wayne County commissioner that was part of that task force, which was Reggie Reg Davis at the time. So those are two big initiatives that we really push, along with SBA, helping small businesses. Right now, during COVID, a lot of small businesses are hurt, especially minority Black-owned businesses. And so, we noticed that a lot of African-American businesses was not getting the proper funding as some of the other businesses, such as like in Midtown, which is a part of the district that Lake Joe Ware and myself have in common. So if you look at downtown of our district, you look at the Midtown part of our district, a lot of those businesses was getting a lot of funding, but our Black businesses are suffering because they're not getting as much funding. And so we put together a program where we going out talking to businesses, having forums. And so a lot of our forums are held over at the Doubletree Hotel right there on 4th Street. We meet once a quarter, so we do about 3-4 of these programs per year, calendar year, and we usually get about between 200 and 300 businesses that comes in to participate in those discussions. So we bring in someone from the city level, we bring someone in from the state level, and we bring in SBA and some of the other surrounding partnerships to help with small businesses here in Detroit so they can thrive too.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm done.
Thank you. Commissioner Vargo?
Thank you. Good morning. Please describe any experience where you've had to prepare or analyze budgets in detail, please.
Sure, absolutely. One of the issues that when it comes to the police department budget, the Detroit Police Department's budget is nearly $400 million. And so a lot of times the budget would be presented at the 12th hour for commissioners to have to prepare and to give a recommendation and to approve this budget, more importantly. So I looked at the two programs, which is the 1033 program with the Department of Defense. The other program is the 1122 program. It's also with the Department of Defense, where the police department can purchase military top grade equipment. And so, here as America's Blackest and poorest city in America, which is Detroit, military grade equipment has no place on the streets of Detroit, and we should not use public tax dollars to pay for any of this equipment. There's been many times that I've raised questions about the department's budget. We got to look at the return on investment for those dollars and look at how those dollars are being allocated within the budget. And so we got to look at strengths and analysis. Is this working for the department, or is it not working for the department? The department can come at any hour and say, we need to get, X amount of equipment. We all want officers to have a sufficient, amount of fleet so they can be able to help improve when it comes to police response times. But using military grade equipment on the streets of Detroit is somewhere where I draw the line. And so, I've been speaking out on transparency, but I also pay attention to the budget. And I served on the budget committee for a number of years on the Detroit Police Commission as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll go to Commissioner Ray Basham.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and welcome, and appreciate you being here. The Wayne County Commission is a legislative body county government. And what's interesting, I've had my experiences, but can you sort of talk about like your experience with renewing contracts? Because sometimes the administration might send you a contract that's retroactive, or that might send you a contract that you disagree with. What would you say to if you was presented a contract that you disagree with? How would you handle that?
Good point. We have had our fair share of dealing with contracts. For instance, one of the contracts that the Board of Police Commissioners have is the power of return. Who gets those contracts? Who gets those permits to do business here in the city of Detroit? And so we know that towing is a big, major problem right now in the city of Detroit. One of the things I could say, there's been times that the board had to weigh in into they had to weigh in on some of the contractors that was probably doing some things that was unethical. And so I had to prevent them from entering into the process for that term, because maybe it was an investigation, may have been pending or something along those lines. But one of the things I do, I raise a lot of questions at the table. I take a lot of notes as a commissioner. When it comes to, contracts and things of that nature in the city, I'm probably the most transparent commissioner that you will have, because everything I stand on is transparency, and I've proven that time and time again, and still pushing transparency. So that's one of the things that I've been pushing for from the time I've been in office. Is, I'm actually in my 8th year right now. It has been transparency, and so I do have questions and concerns when it comes to contracts and who get those contracts and things of that nature. And I have raised those concerns at the table. We had quite a few interesting discussions about some of the towing allegations in the city, and some of the towing allegations are still pending right now with investigations of police officers that were involved in towing and so forth. So transparency is something that I stand on, something that I remind my colleagues every single day, because we're here to represent all 700,000 residents right here in the city of Detroit, which is, I think it's maybe 660,000 now, but
I guess if I may just do a little follow-up on that. So if you was presented a contract that you disagree with it, how would you fix that? Because you mentioned that you get contracts on 11th hour when it comes to budget, voting on budget, multi-million-dollar contracts at the 11th hour. Have you fixed that?
There's been times where, I have literally, raised at the table for us to get a legal opinion, either from our attorney or with the City Corporation Council on matters in the past. But more importantly, if it's something that I firmly disagree with, then I just vote no on the matter. If it's something that I strongly feel I disagree with. But more importantly, I try and talk with my colleagues and try to work with them, because there is no I in team. We only as strong as each other. So it's very important to have conversations prior going into a meeting, just so we won't crash.
Thank you so much. That concludes all the questions from the committee members. At this time, I'd like to give you 2 to 3 minutes for any closing remarks that you have, Commissioner.
Thank you. Once again, working here in the city of Detroit, these past 7 years or so has been very interesting working with our seniors, working to help with mental health, working with our veterans as well. It's really been a wonderful opportunity to be able to raise up your sleeves and help write policies that can help in those regards. One of the things as a commissioner, we are responsible for rules, regulations, and policies. So we do write a lot of policies on the Detroit Board of Police Commission. But going into the senior, talking to many of our seniors, District 5 as a police commissioner is the same district as District 2 for county. We got approximately 68 senior citizen buildings in our district. And so, you know, a lot of our seniors have a lot of special needs. There's a lot of different challenges. A lot of it has to do with poverty. So one of the things we started was a poverty task force, and been out helping passing out food since the beginning of the pandemic to many families. A lot of seniors don't have access to some of these food distribution, so you have to bring it to them. So it's just the district has a lot of different challenges, but more importantly, end of the day, everyone wants to have an elected official that they can count on, that they feel that will fight for them. So I have been doing that.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Burton. Again, we appreciate your time this morning, and thank you for your interest in filling the seat of District 2 County Commission of our dear friend. Thank you again, and we will certainly be in touch with you within the next 48 hours.
Sure, it's great seeing everyone. Thank you.
Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next on our schedule is Senator Coleman Young. Good morning, Senator. You're on mute. Okay. Let's make sure the senator is off. Oh, there you go.
Hello.
All right.
Yeah, I'm
Hello. How are you, sir?
I'm good, Madam Chair. How are you?
I'm great. Great to see you, sir, this morning.
Always good to see you. Always a pleasure to see you and to the commission.
Thank you again. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule to be with us this morning and your interest in the seat of Wayne County Commission District 2. At this time, I will ask you to take 2 to 3 minutes to tell us about yourself.
Well, first of all, I just want to say, Madam Chairwoman, thank you so much for having me on here. And I just want to say I appreciate my conversations with you and with everyone else who I also had conversations with, who responded to me talking to. I just want to say thank you so much for the opportunity, and I really enjoy those conversations as well. And I have relationships with people on the commission, so it's good to hear from you guys again and see you again. I hope everybody had happy holidays. My name is Coleman Alexander Young II, and the reason why I'm running is because I have a 12-year record of accomplishment as a state rep and as a state senator. I've appropriated over $800 million to the state and to the city of Detroit. I created over 10,000 jobs through movie tax credits. I passed historic civil rights legislation, making sure that pregnant women receive mandatory paid leave in the public and private sectors. I've also passed legislation for energy cost recovery. I've also passed $12 million in fire protection grants. I've passed $6.8 million in heat and eat. That's food and energy assistance for low-income families during the winter months, which we all know is important during these times now, which allowed me to draw down $300 million from the federal government. I've also had authorized a $40 million science, technology, engineering, and math learning center in Wayne State University. I've also passed $565,000 in funding for autism. And I've passed $1 million for Charles H. Wright Museum and $2 million for Focus Hope. So I've done a lot in my career, and I've been very blessed to do that. But part of the reason why I was able to do that is because of the leadership and the inspiration and motivation that I received from Commissioner Jewel Ware, may she rest in peace. Commissioner Ware was someone who led by example. And what I gleaned from her was that my district was always kind of coincided within her district, with whether I was a state rep, where that's like 88,000, it's 71,000 to 91,000 people, depending on how your district is or whatever is counted. And whether I was a state senator, which is over 250,000 people, our districts kind of coincided with one another. And so I learned how to serve senior citizens. I learned how to give the shirt off my back. I learned how to be a voice for the voiceless and how to give power to the powerless and be hope for the hopeless from watching her example. And I also learned more about the ceremonial role as a state senator from watching her give out tributes and watching the things that she's done. And you know, there's a great quote that people say that heroes are remembered, but legends never die. And I think that the legend and legacy of Jewel Ware will endure forever. And I'm just so thankful to learn from her, to glean from her, from, you know, when I used to go out there in the communities and work in the senior citizens home, you know, my family would tell me that you were doing it the Jewel Ware way, because that's really where we learned how to do it, is put our nose to the grindstone, say what we mean what we say, leave a situation better than we found it, and make sure that you serve those who the least of these, the poorest of these, but serve those, you know, who can't help those who can't help themselves, and serve those who can't serve themselves. And so that's what we do. That's what I've done. That's what I learned from Jewel Ware. And that's why I want to continue that legacy on as a commissioner in District 2. I also just want to say that I am a team player. I am someone that wants to complement the commission and also want to be loyal to the commission and to your goals and to what you're trying to do to move the county forward in the best way possible. And I'd be so humbled and honored if I had your support for Jewel Ware's seat in District 2 of the Wayne County Commission. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Our first question will come from Vice Chair Palomero.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Senator, for your service in the legislature and also for your interest in joining the Wayne County Commission. My question is a two-part question, Senator. What do you believe are the most important qualities and characteristics that a county commissioner should possess? And secondly, what do you believe are a county commissioner's most important duties and responsibilities?
Well, I think that thank you, that's an excellent question. It's good to hear from you again, Commissioner Palomero. Good to see you again.
Thank you.
I think the best qualities that a commissioner should have, one, I think, is integrity. Like I said earlier, say what you mean what you say, honesty. I think another important quality is someone who is willing to add value to their constituency. I think someone who is willing, like I said earlier, to give the shirt off their back, someone, like I said earlier, who's willing to make a difference and improve the lives of their constituency. And when they're making a decision, ask the simple fundamental question is my constituency going to benefit from this? How are they going to be impacted? And what do I need to do to make sure that their lives improve from the decisions that I'm making? And so I think it's compassion, I think it's transparency, I think it's honesty, but I also think it's service. And remembering that the most powerful office in the world is that of citizen. And so I think that honoring them and making sure that we serve them to the best of my ability and capacity, that's what I think the best role of a county commissioner is being a public servant to the county. I think the basic roles of a county commissioner, one is to adopt a budget, also is to pass ordinances, pass rules, and to make appointments if need be. But also, like I said, it is the role of being a public servant, of adding value, of improving the lives of the constituents and the people of Wayne County. And especially now, when we are at a time where we have almost 3,557 people who have lost their lives due to coronavirus. You know, when you have in my area, where you have 84% of the public that cannot pay basic needs right now in the city of Detroit, and 47% in the region. I think now more than ever, people are hurting, people are dying, people are losing their jobs, people are losing their lives. And we're basically in a situation now where people, every time people go to their dinner table, they're looking at that empty chair where their brother or their mother or their father or their uncle or their family member used to sit, and it's now empty because they've lost their life due to COVID. And so now more than ever, I think we need people who are in public office for the right reasons. I think I have the best record. I think I have the best track record. I think I have the best characteristics and the best qualities. And I personally think that I would be the best person to be commissioner in District 2.
Thank you, Senator.
Okay,
Thank
thank you. Thank you. Next question, Commissioner Irma Clark Coleman.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good morning, Senator Coleman Young.
Good morning.
Thank you for appearing here today, and thank you for being willing to step out there and serve the folks that Jewel served so well. Now, my question has to do with, now I know you mentioned a couple things that you worked with Commissioner Ware on, but I'd like for you to talk about specific things that you partnered with her, because we know that Jewel was all over the district and she worked with a lot of people. She worked with probably everyone that's going to appear here. So what specifically did you work with Jewel on that came to fruition and is of a great benefit to the citizens in that district?
Well, I think what I work specifically, that's an excellent question. Thank you so much. It's good to hear from you again, Commissioner Coleman. I think what we worked on particularly was when we went into the senior citizen home, particularly in Friendship Meadows. We were always having meetings and we worked together in terms of being able to hand out information with one another. Our staff constantly was in communication and coordination with each other in terms of when we were going to meet, in terms of the food that we were going to hand out to senior citizens, because we were constantly in senior citizen buildings. So I think that those were a lot of things that we worked on. We had meetings in not just at 8330. We also had meetings in not just at Friendship Meadows, but also at 8330 on the river. And I also went to one of her senior proms as well and handed out food and handed out my cards there as well. I think the thing about the commission that really stood out was her graciousness and the fact that she was always willing to depart on me knowledge and information of things to do. Now, you know, she was a little bit protective about some of the stuff that she wanted me to do. I remember one time she was talking to me, you know, about Idlewild, and she's like, you know, I gotta be careful, Coleman, because I don't want to give you all my ideas. You know, that's really kind of how she used to talk to me a lot of times. But I think it wasn't just the partnerships that I had with her. It was also the fact that throughout most of my career, I tried to emulate and copy as much as I could things that she did in the district, the way in which she served senior citizens. And she was the golden standard in which I was always trying to meet. You know, if I came into the senior citizen home with ice cream and I came with my senior citizens guide, a lot of that I got from her. And then, you know, I would come in, I would think I was doing something because I gave them pizza and I gave them, you know, and I went in there and I gave them punch. And they would come back and say, well, you know, Jewel Ware came in here and gave everybody Cornish hens. You know, and it was just that constant next step that she was. She truly was someone that was always raising the bar and making me improve myself, not just as a legislator and a lawmaker, but also as a human being, as a person. And so I think for her, it's not just what I worked with her on, it's also following her standard of leadership and living up to that made me the person I am today.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I'm finished.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you both. Next, we'll go to Commissioner Varga.
Thank you. You've already talked a little bit about preparing budgets and analyzing them. So what I would like to have you do is to try to think of ways that you could bring your experience to the commission that would be helpful to us.
Well, I think the ways in which I want to bring my experience to the commission is first and foremost as someone who is willing to negotiate, someone who's willing to work with people to get things done. Those are things that I did when I passed a historic civil rights legislation for mandatory paid leave for pregnant women. That's something that I want to do in order to help people, particularly with the coronavirus right now. Just making sure that we coordinate, partner with the state, with the federal government to be able to provide the assistance that we need to people who are hurting right now, not just in terms of individual workers, but also small businesses as well. And I see that you already have given out, you know, to 24,000 people have already applied for the $500 cash cards that Wayne County has given out. to small businesses. And that's something that I would see myself being able to help and extend and partner with as well. I also think that my role as a chairperson, or as my role, not a chairperson, I'm sorry, my role on the committee of transportation, once we get past the coronavirus and once we get, once we kind of get our budget a little bit more stable, I think that we want to start really looking at how we're going to be able to fix our infrastructure and put people back to work. And I have a history of doing that by creating 10,000 jobs with movie tax credits that I passed. But also I think in terms of passing budgets for road transportation. And we have 3 bridges right now that I think are in dire need of support. Miller Bridge over in Dearborn, Dix Pasquale over in the city of Detroit, and Haggerty Road that goes through Livonia, Canton, and Van Buren. It's going to cost about $100 million for us to fix. I think that I have a history of providing innovative solutions to that issue. I think that's something that I would want to participate in doing as well and bring my expertise to that. I also think that, bringing expertise into, now again, this is, after the coronavirus is over, but I also think in terms of bringing my expertise in terms of, the issue of foreclosures and really just trying to promote and help people understand about the PAYS program right now and about poverty exemption programs. I think that's something in terms of people being able to keep their homes and their homes property tax foreclosure. I think that's something that I could do right now in terms of helping people in terms of programs. But I think in terms of, I bring my expertise of balancing, over $42 billion budgets when I was up there and, and getting things done and really getting things done through very difficult times. I also served during the economic downturn, during the first, the Great Recession. And I was able to help bring my expertise to bring it to balancing budgets in that area. So I think that's something I'll be able to do with the commission as well. And I passed 13 laws as well.
Thank you. Thank you both.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Basham.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and welcome. And when I got on the commission, the first thing I did was read the charter. And have you read the charter yet? And then also, once you read the charter, then you know that the legislative branch of government is responsible for a lot of things like, reviewing contracts, those sorts of things. And also, like, what would you do if somebody from the administration sent you a contract that they wanted, but you disagree with? How would you deal with contracts? And also, can you speak a little bit about your thoughts about the legislative body of county government? Thank you.
Well, first of all, I just want to say, Representative, I want to say, Commissioner Basham, it's always a pleasure to talk with you. Thank you so much for the advice that you gave me prior to this conversation. I took it to heart and it really did a lot for me in my endeavors. So I just want to say I appreciate you and thank you so much for all the wisdom that you imparted on me over the years. Secondly, I just wanted to say, just to answer your question, I want to use an old, John Kennedy quote, never negotiate out of fear, but never fear to negotiate. And I think one of the first things that I want to do is I want to talk to the representatives of the administration, and I want to tell them what my objections are. And I want to work with them to be able to see if we can find common ground in that regard. And I think the common question that I would ask is, how is this contract going to do? What is this contract going to do for my constituency? How is my constituency going to benefit from this? How is the community going to improve from this? And do we have the financial means to be able to afford this contract? We don't want to put good money after bad. We want to be responsible stewards of our $1.61 billion budget. So I think that's something that I definitely would, that's a process that I would take. I want to negotiate. I want to listen to what they have to say. I'd also want to talk to other members of the commission to see what they feel. I also want to talk to you as well, just to have that sort of information and part that sort of wisdom and just get people's thoughts in terms of this contract and what it is, and also share my obligations, because I want to be a team player. I want to be someone who's loyal to the commission and to the institution. It is not my intention to blindside anyone. I don't want to do that. And I really just want to be able to hear the concerns that people have and listen to the concerns of my constituency as well before I make a decision. And I think once I go through those type of processes and go and run it through the metrics and do my due diligence, I think then I'll probably be able to make a further decision on whether or not I'm going to support the contract or not. Because there might be some things that we can make some changes, and I would support it. So I definitely want to be open to changes and open to what the administration's needs are, as well as serve my constituency to the best of my ability.
All right, thank you. Thank you again, Senator. At this time, I'd like to ask you to give a few minutes of closing remarks for us.
Well, listen, I just want to say again, thank you so much for the time that all of you have imparted to me. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity and honor. It is a pleasure for me to be here in front of you. I also just want to let you know that I also have 50 support letters for communities within the constituency. I also have support from Council President Brenda Jones, as the Honorable Council President Brenda Jones, as well as support from the Honorable Clerk, the greatest clerk on earth, Kathy Garrett. So I just wanted to put that out there as well. But I also want to say in conclusion that, you know, there's a great quote that says that a man makes a living by what he gets, but he makes a life by what he gives. And being in the position to fulfill the seat of Jewel Ware, no one will ever replace Jewel Ware. And the legacy that she left behind really lives up to that quote, that she has really made a life by what she's giving, and she's made a life to everyone, and she's made everyone else's life better by what she's given. And I want to continue in that step. As a son of Detroit, as the son of the Honorable Coleman Alexander Young, I want to be able to use that legacy and those principles to be able to carry forward to the best of my ability, not replace, but carry forward to the best of my ability what the daughter of Detroit, Jewel Ware, has left behind in Wayne County. And so I really just want to say it's an honor for me to be here. I want to thank everyone for allowing me to have this opportunity. Again, I want to be loyal to the commission. I want to be I want to be someone who is a team player and a partner with the institution. I want to use this opportunity to be able to put people back to work. I think to be able to invest in small businesses, to be able to rebuild our infrastructure, and I really believe to be able to go about not just perfecting this county and perfecting our union. So I want to say thank you so much for this opportunity. I appreciate you. God bless you. And I'd be so very humbled and I'd be so very honored if I could have your support in being commissioner of District 2 in Wayne County. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. We appreciate your time with us this morning, and thank you for your willingness to step out there to fulfill the seat or fill the seat of Jewel Ware. So thank you so much for your time.
And I just want to say something else really quickly. I'm sorry. I just want to say, and thank you to the chairwoman for allowing me to have this opportunity as well. I just want to say to the commission and to the chairwoman, you know, I think the youngest female chairwoman ever elected. I just want to say thank you so much. I appreciate you, and thank you for everyone, all the commission, for this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Senator. We appreciate that so much. And again, you will hear from us within 48 hours. Thank you, sir. Take care now.
God bless you.
God bless you. Okay, if Madam Clerk, if you could put the screen back on, Octavia, really quick, please. The agenda screen, if you could put that back up. Okay, I just want everyone to see that we will recess until 1:30, but before we recess, I'd like to go to item number F. Madam Clerk?
Public comments.
Did you receive any email comments?
I have not received any emails.
Okay, well, let me then ask Octavia to unmute the lines of everyone to see if there are any comments. You can put them in the chat, or you can just try to raise your hand if you're on Zoom. I'll go to that screen now. If there are any comments, or just speak if you're on the phone. After Octavia unmutes everyone. Okay, I see one hand before we go to the phone. Mr. Eric Brown. You unmute Mr. Eric. Unmute
Yeah, it's good.
Mr. Brown, yes.
I'm muted.
Mr.
Okay,
Brown?
good morning. Happy New Year to all.
I'm sorry, Mr. Brown. Before you go any further, everyone will have 1 minute for their public comments. Public comments is not a back and forth. It's an opportunity for the public to give their comment to this body. Go ahead, Mr. Brown.
Okay, good morning, Happy New Year. My only comment is I just feel that this process, I'm a firm believer of the electorate having a say. And I feel that this process, I know it's in the charter, takes away the will of people to vet the candidates as well as have the opportunity to elect those who will be representing them. Again, yes, the charter calls for an appointment process, but the charter also says that if the appointment is not made, that the people will have an opportunity to vote in a special election. And I think that should have been a route to be taken when you're elected, when you're appointed someone in a position to represent others. That's just my personal opinion. I've written about it recently because I am a firm believer. You know, we just had the 2020 election where everybody talked about how important it was for people to have the right to vote. Well, the right to vote is being taken away from everyone in District 2 right now. I presently am a member of District 5 out in Michigan, and we would not have put up with selecting someone to fill the role of someone that was elected by the people. And that's just my 2 cents.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Next, we have Miss Brenda Hill.
Hey man, sorry. I don't have a lot of time here because.
I'm sorry, who's speaking, please? Next, we have Miss Brenda Hill.
Good morning, everyone, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I agree with Mr. Eric Brown. We just had an election. Jewel Ware was sworn in, which is a technicality here, but she never took the seat of office starting January 1. We should have a special election as soon as possible, which would be March, to fill this seat. Also, this election process, you all did not have to answer these types of questions to get your position. And so this is really a show. We're hearing that the unions are putting pressure on you all to select certain people. There are some front runners in that. And so I think to equalize everything, you all should appoint a person for this short time and have a special election in March or no later than May. The will of the people, even if you all selected the next person who ran, that would be the will of the people as well. But I'm enjoying this selection process, and I think that you all should think about having someone that's elected in that position as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hill. Next, we have Mr. Stuckey, Mr. Donald Stuckey.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I do not live in District 2. I've known Jewel Ware for years. She was a very solid transit advocate. I would just like to say, obviously, I agree with other comments that we should have an election, but obviously the city charter, the county charter is what the commission has to rely on. I will say that I hope that when you're considering who it is that you will select for this position, that you will put someone in place that will have the proper qualifications, that they will have the ability to ask tough questions, and to utilize the many tools that is at the commission's disposal to figure out what's going on. I think in a time where we have government that is where a lot of people don't trust government, we need elected officials that will make sure that our government is doing what it's supposed to do. Thank you for the opportunity to speak, and have a good day.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your comment. I don't see any more hands. I don't see anything in the chat. Is there anyone on the phone who would like to give a public comment at this time? And if you could please, Octavia, unmute everyone.
Everyone has been unmuted, Chair.
Everyone's unmuted?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there anyone on the telephone who would like to make a public comment at this time? Anyone on the phone for public comment? Okay.
Madam Chair,
Oh, yes.
how are you, ma'am? I am not on the telephone, but I would like to make a comment. My name is Stephen Grady Muhammad, and I'm Chief of Staff for your Detroit City Council President, Brenda Jones.
Good
And I'd
morning,
like
sir.
to- Good morning, ma'am. It's so good to see you.
Likewise.
And your leadership of the commission. I want to be very brief. You all have a very difficult decision to make because the Honorable Jewel Ware was a powerhouse in our county. I am a member of her district. I worked very closely with her, and I will be looking forward to working very closely with whomever you select. As I said, you have a very difficult selection that you have to make. You have to satisfy commissioners. You have to satisfy the community, the public. We've got to look out for the seniors whom the Honorable Jewel Ware was a great advocate for. So I'm just sending you best wishes. I know that you'll make the right decision, and I appreciate everything that you and the commission are doing.
Thank you. I appreciate that, sir. Thank you so much for your comments.
Yes.
At this time, because I did jump the gun, public comments were supposed to be after our 2 o'clock interview, but that's okay. I thought it was important to do it after this set of interviews. So at this time, we will, if I don't see, hold on, I see one more in the chat. Let me just make sure. Okay, Eric Brown put something in the chat that he also verbally stated. So, okay. So at this point, if I hear no one else on the line or on the Zoom, we will recess into our next interview, which will be at 1:30. Thank you so much. The Rules Committee is now in recess. Ahead and continue. So, I'd like to call us back from recess. And our first interviewee for this afternoon is Beverly Kendall Walker. Hello, Ms. Walker, how are you?
She's on mute.
Yep.
Hi.
Yes, she is.
Hi.
Hello, how are you today?
Fine. How's everybody?
Very good, very good.
Good New
We
Year.
will go ahead and get started. So I first want to thank you for your interest in this seat, and thank you for being with us this afternoon. We're going to start our interview with a few questions and then allow you some ending remarks. But first, I'd like to begin by asking you to take about 2 to 3 minutes to tell us about yourself.
Okay. Well, again, we are concerned about, the replacement of our County Commissioner Jewel Ware. I'm a resident of this district, having lived here for over 30 years. I've known Jewel growing up, but my concern is that we have an active commissioner with the same work ethic that Jewel exhibited. And so in that concern, I decided to apply for the position, just out of concern for the constituents that she served and that we both serve in the community. I do work for Wayne County Commissioner Tim Killeen as his legislative assistant. And so I'm really familiar with processes, county government, the legislative side. My resume does reflect a broader experience in city and county government on the legislative side, as well as the executive branch, having worked for the mayor's office, neighborhood city halls for 3 years, and council persons Cleveland and Scott for a respective 8 years total. And I am very active in my community with various nonprofits and very approachable and concerned about constituents' concerns. So I've just really been out here as everybody known Jewel to be the heart of our community in terms of representing. You never had to worry about her representing, and that's what we need to continue. And that's what I intend to do, if selected. Thank you. I can't hear you.
Sorry, I apologize. My computer's a little glitchy. But thank you for your opening remarks. And at this time, I do see Vice Chair Palomar is on the line, and I will have him ask the first question. Vice Chair?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you for your interest in serving on the Wayne County Commission. I have a two-part question. The first is, what do you believe are the main characteristics that a Wayne County Commissioner should possess? And also, what do you believe are the duties and responsibility of a Wayne County Commissioner?
Well, certainly as being a member of the legislative branch of government, you should be about the business of being a check and a balance and to making sure that what's presented before you is fully vetted by yourself and or depending on the legislative staff that provides you with concrete information on how you need to direct yourself. But as a commissioner, everyone should be charged with the responsibility to do your due diligence on every matter that's before you. And it's a tedious process, but it's very necessary to take your time to go with the established rules and procedures, but also to investigate to make sure that it's consistent in how it benefits the community, your constituents at hand. So everything should always be about the community benefit and how it's going to impact them or lack thereof. So that would be the most consistent thing I think a commissioner should have, is to concern first and foremost for the constituent, but also for the money that's necessary to implement whatever it is that we're trying to make sure is provided for the community.
Good answer. And also, what about the job duties and responsibilities? Have you looked in to see what some of the day-to-day duties consist of?
Well, certainly being a legislative assistant to Council Commissioner Tim Killeen, I certainly know those inherent responsibilities with the standing committees, with the committee structure. So that's important. But the main thing is the contracts and paying attention to the budget and what's presented from the executive. So those are very tedious things. We have to be forward thinking about what's coming up on the horizon as it's going to impact our budget, because as I indicated in my cover letter, we got COVID-19 issues that's going to seriously impact the budget coming up, excuse me, as well as the property tax collection is going to impact, especially because of some recent rulings coming out from the state of Michigan Supreme Court that's going to impact the ability to receive funds from property taxes that's being collected. So those are serious matters that are going to be facing you very, very soon that we need to be conscious of.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Next, we'll have a question from Commissioner Clark Holman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And thank you, Ms. Kendall Walker, for being here today. We appreciate you willing to step out there and carry on the responsibilities that Jewel established in her district.
Yes.
My question has to do with constituent relations.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that certainly we are a legislative body and we pass laws and affecting Wayne County. But another part of that responsibility of a commissioner is how much work you're doing out there in the community for the people you represent. Now, I know that there was no one that did a better job out there than Jewel Ware. And we're looking to see if we can find someone that will continue that that work out there. So can you explain to me or give me some examples of the important community involvement you have in that district? And are there any examples you can point to me where you partnered with Commissioner Ware in providing services to the constituents?
Certainly, as it relates to her first love, which is constituent relations for senior citizens, certainly I've helped her in terms of being there in the various community buildings to make presentations about voter education. That has not been a recent endeavor of mine because on some things we agree to disagree, the commissioner and myself. But where we absolutely agree on was youth and the needs of the young people in the community. And so her Mittens and Gloves initiative that was started by Ms. Maddie, her mother, was something that she was had dear to her heart. And so she would partner with me at the city airport where we had an annual community Christmas celebration, and she would bring me her leftover gloves or send me her leftover items for my children. And so that was something that was absolutely shared a partnership with as it relates to Jewel in particular. But I certainly do things in the community absent from county government, but more city government, because those two things should be more fluid than they are. But we do all serve the same constituency, but we just have different responsibilities given which government that we're operating under. But certainly as it relates to Jewel and myself, we share similar philosophies because our parents worked and came out of the inner city sub-center. And our main philosophy is, and then was, to always do good in the neighborhood. And so that's what was the foundation for what we learned coming out of the inner city sub-center.
Okay, so so can you name specifically any recent activities that you have worked on with the constituents out there?
As I said, we have our annual community Christmas celebration, which on this past December the 22nd, we had over 139 children and parents who participated in the drive-by annual community Christmas celebration, in which we gave away coats, toys, books, gloves, whatever we had. And this is an annual thing. As I said, Jewel has partnered with me in the past to make sure that our young people had gloves and had some mittens. As part of her program, her overflow, she sent it to me or brought it to us at the airport. I do work with the Friends of Detroit City Airport, which is on the eastern edge of District 2, part of the district on the southern part of it. So it's not inconsistent to do things with the county. Of course, I work with, when the lines were redrawn because of the census population, Commissioner Colleen's district covered the northern part and the city airport area. We still have relations with some of those people who call our office as opposed to their current commissioners to get information and redress to their situation. So I do have active responsibilities across District 1 and 2 that I currently engage in. So.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Next, we'll go to the Chair of Ways and Means, Commissioner Varga.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Wonderful. How are you?
Good. Can you describe to us your experience that you've had in preparing and analyzing budgets that would relate to Wayne County?
Yes. And so at being a legislative assistant to County Commissioner Tim Killeen, we do, have opportunities to weigh in with him on issues that's coming before a commission. And so that's just part of what I do. Policy analyst is soundboard, whatever. How does it impact the constituents? Those are things that we regularly do in our office. So.
Is there anything you see as a commissioner that you would not have been able to do by your staff that might affect the way that we do budgeting?
No, the process is so, it's so intensive. It's just what you have to go through, basically, and that's why you need a full-rounded commission for everybody to bring something to the table and have fresh eyes to look at what's being presented to you from the executive branch. So no, I don't see anything different necessarily that needs to happen. You just need to have a full commission on board to take responsibility for that, whatever portion of the budget that you're trying to look at, as well as contracts. So, it's just a matter of doing the work.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. At this time, I'd like to go to our Chair of Audit, Ray Basham. Commissioner Basham?
Well, thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you for applying, and thank you for your knowledge and experience with the district. The Wayne County Commission is the legislative body of county government, and I was wondering if you could talk about your experiences with like reviewing contracts, and also can you talk about how you would handle a contract that was sent to you from the administration that you disagreed with? And so give us a little bit on that.
So one of the main things is to go through the contract yourself and to expect that you would have input from the auditor in whatever department that is supplying the information from the executive branch to the legislative branch. But it's very tedious, as I said, to go through and come up with the proper questions that you need to ask, or you need to maybe call some outside entity that's directly impacted by the contract that's coming up. So you need to do due diligence, investigate stuff. And sometimes you need to trust your instinct, but in all cases, you need to have a balance to look at something fairly and try to see how does this affect the constituents, So in my positions with the city council, those are things that we wrestle with constantly with the budget and various contracts. And then you have to deal with hidden agendas and know who the players are, and just a number of things you need to be on top of constantly to make sure what's presented to you is accurate, fair, who's benefiting, who's not, so those things have to be weighed into balance.
And have you read the charter, the Wayne County Charter?
Certainly.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. At this time, Ms. Kendall Walker, I will allow you 5 minutes to give closing remarks and anything that we did ask that you want to expound upon or reiterate. So closing remarks, you have the floor.
Thank you so much. So I'm just making an assumption that we all agree that persons who applied for this position had a sincere desire to serve the constituents, whoever the applicants were, and then the process was properly sought out, walked out by this board. That's a given. So I don't want to spend any more time on that, but there's some undercurrent going on. But I believe everything has been done above board. Everyone who was interested had the opportunity to do so. And as I decided to make my application, was out of the desire to make sure that some of the work ethic that Commissioner Jewel Ware exhibited over all the years I've known her will be continued. There are certainly, as I said, there were some areas that she and I disagreed on, but that's just the way it is. But consistently, what I say to you is that our mothers served under the inner city subsidy. So we got our influence from them to say that you always should do good in this neighborhood. And that's exactly what I know that she did, Jewel did. So that will be my goal, is to continue in that vein and add to, because we're going to have some difficult days ahead, as I said, with budget coming up. But there's some positives with President-elect Joe Biden coming into the White House, that we have an opportunity to send a consistent voice to the federal government of the needs to this community, because we're going to be impacted seriously by our property tax collection. That's going to have a major change. Jewel was always adamant about making sure the public policy, public services was first and foremost. Public safety is important. We have to budget properly for public safety. All hands on deck coming up to say that this is what we need to operate our county commission, our commission, we need X amount of dollars. There's no fluctuation on that. So we have to find the money somewhere. We need perhaps new revenue streams we need to be looking at. There's a whole lot that all commissions have to bring to the table to ensure that this county government continues on, not in a deficit, really. So we need to make sure that we all, our departments, all the elected officials are on board with the same idea to make sure this Wayne County government is solvent and we go forward and serve our constituents in the proper manner. My resume, my work experience would reflect the ability to work on the legislative side and the executive side of governments, city and county. I don't know what else to tell you other than I am very anxious to make sure that we have someone in the position to represent District 2, consistent to what we are accustomed to as a person who is approachable and holds dear the issues of the constituents of District 2.
Thank you. We have a few more minutes, so I'm going to ask.
I think you froze up.
Yeah, you froze.
Chair Bell? Yeah, Joey? Joey, you're mute. You're on mute.
You're on mute, Joe.
Hi, I see what's happening. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay, yeah. Sorry about that. We'll wait until Chair Bell gets reconnected, but in the meantime, if there's any other follow-up questions to Ms. Kendall Walker's closing statement, people can ask at this time.
Well, I would like to add one more thing. There was a project that.
He said, "Go ahead."
Go ahead, Beverly.
There was a project that Jill was working on, the Rosa Parks Memorial Tribute, that I would definitely like to see go forward. That was dear to her heart to do, as well as the completion of the jail, which is right in the district as well. So those are issues that I will continue to follow.
I know that Commissioner Martha G. Scott is very interested in that, the Rosa Parks.
Yes, ma'am.
Task force.
And Commissioner Colleen is also a part of that effort.
Okay. Okay. Well, why don't we just wait until Alicia gets back? The next person is not scheduled until 2 o'clock. So why don't we just take a recess until 2 o'clock? Well, we'll stay on here, but we'll just wait.
Bell is joining now.
Oh, there you are. Okay. Are you with us, Alicia? Well, then unmute yourself.
Yep, I'm very slow over here. Thank you. I'm so sorry. I don't know how I apologize. You know, the wonderful world of Zoom, right? And working from home with all these connections. I have my children on their work from home, plus me, and my bandwidth obviously is not able to take all of it. But I'm sorry. Did you hear anything that I said, Ms. Kendall Walker? Okay.
No, ma'am.
I'll try it again. I mean, we have a couple of minutes, and I said that you mentioned COVID and the effect it's having on state and county and city budgets. Do you have, and you work with Commissioner Tim Colleen, he's the chair of our Health and Human Services Committee. Do you have any suggestions of policy as it relates to COVID for the governments at this time?
I don't, other than to know that the situation is fluid and we don't know the full effect yet, but certainly we know it's going to be a negative because we've had to use money from other areas in order to process the last half of the year. So those are going to impact the budget seriously. We just have to be ready and to ask, you know, the federal government for assistance. Certainly that's what the Congress has been trying to hammer out for the last 7 months or so, to make sure the states got money to help in COVID relief. So we need to be singing the same tune that, yeah, this is what we need in the upcoming Congress that just got sworn in on yesterday. So certainly they know that, but we need to reiterate the need and certainly our county exec will be revealing to us the impact of COVID-19 thus far, I would think relatively soon in his state of the county address. So those are some of the things that will be impacting us.
All right. Well, again, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your interest.
Thank you.
We hear from us within the next 48 hours.
Thank you so much.
Thank
God
you
bless.
so much. Have a great day.
You too.
God bless
Bye-bye.
you. All right. Very good. And let me apologize again for my internet connection. If I go freeze or if I get lost, Vice Chair Palomero, just take the wheel. Okay. All right. Now, our next interviewee is scheduled for 2 o'clock. However, I do see Miss Mary Waters on Zoom right now. So if she is ready and if she doesn't mind starting a few minutes early, Miss Waters, take yourself off of mute.
You're on mute, Mary.
There we go.
Mary.
All right. Okay.
There
Okay.
you
Thank
go.
you.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. Madam Chair, how are you?
Good, good.
And
Very good to
commissioners.
see you. Yes, ma'am. Very good to see you. Do you mind starting a few minutes early?
Oh, no, I don't have a problem with that at all. I was trying to make sure, though, that I didn't interfere with anybody else's interview. And so I said, but you're also supposed to arrive just a little early for an interview.
Absolutely. What I tell my children is early is on time and on time is late. So
Yeah.
very good. Well, if you don't mind, we will go ahead and move right over to you. I want to again thank you for putting your hat in the ring for this very important position for County Commission for District 2. I know you have a wealth of knowledge and experience. So without any further ado, give us 2 or 3 minutes to tell everyone about yourself.
Okay, so thank you so much, Madam Chair and Commissioners. I do appreciate this opportunity to come before you today. Again, I'm Mary Waters, and let me first start by saying that I've personally known our late departed Commissioner Jewel Ware for, why am I getting this echo? There's an echo.
Let me mute.
Okay. I've personally known, it still is, somebody else has it. Okay.
I'm going to ask everyone mute themselves until it's time for you to speak so we can reduce the echo. And I'll mute myself as
Yeah,
well.
because it's just, it's annoying. So, okay. All right. I think that's better. All right. So I've personally known our late departed Commissioner Jewel Ware for about 3 decades. And so she and I represented some of the same people, same constituency when I served as state representative. I know the issues of the district. I know the people in the district. I have relationships because I never stopped working with people, even after I was term limit. But Madam Chair, I know that there are a couple of elephants in the room. Now I want to address those first. First of all, I want people to know that I am an independent person, that there's no one person who's going to dictate to me as an elected official other than the people in the district, in Wayne County. And I feel very strongly about that. So if those who believe that there's somebody personal in my life who can dictate to me, I want to dispel that right now. So I come before you today as a Black woman who has a federal misdemeanor on her record. All right, I need to share both with you, the commissioners, and people in Wayne County about why that misdemeanor happened. You see, back in 2009, I was charged, and I ended up having to take a plea to a federal misdemeanor for receiving a watch from my boyfriend that I did not pay taxes on. Now, when I took that plea, I thought that I had to pay taxes on that watch. But I later learned that I did not have to pay taxes on a gift. But when I went back to the courts and I fought and I fought and I fought, I tried to rectify that. I tried to get them to change it, but it's very, very difficult. You know, you need time and you need a whole lot of money when you're going up against the federal government. And there's no process in the federal government that would allow you to clear your record. So I wanted to get those particular elephants out of the room because I want you all to know that that does not change who I am, who I've been in my community for year after year after year. And it does not affect my ability to get the job done. I wanted you guys to know that. That is very critical. Now, let me just tell you about me, Mary Waters. I served in Lansing for 6 years until I was term limited. And Madam Chair and Commissioners, I served with honor and integrity. I was the first African-American female floor leader in the history of the Michigan House of Representatives. I was honored that my colleagues thought enough of me to place me in leadership. You know, there were times they used to call me the quiet storm. And so I took the job very seriously. I sat there, 6 years. I never missed a day of work because I wanted to be there. Even there were times that I knew there was nothing I could do about certain issues because we were not in the majority. I still stayed there. I was there working on behalf of the people. And as one who was in leadership, there were 3 women in charge at that time. And you all might know the 3 women. One of them was me, Mary Waters. The other one was Diane Byram, and the other one was Gretchen Whitmer. And so you had 3 chicks in charge. That's what we used to say. And so our job was to ensure that those legislators coming behind us would have an opportunity to serve in the majority. And so we did that. We managed to do that because I traveled around the state of Michigan, door knocking, fundraising on behalf of our caucus. And so I left the Democratic caucus in the majority during my tenure. Other things that I've done, I worked at Blue Cross and Blue Shield for a number of years. I worked at the children's centers. This is just some biographical information about myself. I am currently an instructor. And so what I do, I'm working with young people who are trying to earn their high school diploma. I also work with other students who are in dual enrollment. Those are the things that I'm currently doing, while I still maintain my visibility in the community. I'm a breast cancer survivor. And so rather than feel sorry for myself, what I decided to do was to continue to educate everybody, my community, about the breast cancer and about the importance of early detection. Because it is critical. When you have Black women who are dying 42% more than, say, white women of breast cancer. So it's critical that we continue to educate our community. I also started the Redemption Coalition. And I started the Redemption Coalition because as a state representative, there were a number of young people who always coming to me saying, Ms. Waters, I cannot get a job because I have a record. So that was an initiative, something that I started even when I was in Lansing as a state rep. While I didn't get to have my name placed on that particular bill, it is a direct result of the work that I did in Lansing. This is why people are able to expunge 1 felony and 2 misdemeanors from their records. Now, I was honored because I later read, after I was term limited, one of the legislators decided to give some credit to me. They said it was as a result of the hard work that former State Representative Mary Waters did. And so I am honored to be here. I want you all to know that I continue to work very, very hard in the community. I have a great relationship with people in this area where I live. And so I'm going to leave it at that for now. And
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for your transparency. We really appreciate your honesty, and that's very important. So thank you so much for all of that good information about you and the past and what you've done. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Vice Chair Palomero for the first question.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Leader and Representative Waters, for your candor. I've always known you to be a straight talker in your personal and professional life, and I appreciate your interest in serving on the Wayne County Commission. My question is twofold, Mary. What do you believe are the most important qualities and characteristics that a commissioner should possess? And also, what do you think are the most important job duties and functions of a Wayne County Commissioner?
Okay. Characteristics is you're willing to serve, understanding who it is that you represent and why you're there. That you are there to do a job on behalf of the people. You're not there to serve yourself. Those are important. The fact that you care and that you're all about service on behalf of those that you represent.
Thank you. And how about the duties and responsibilities of a commissioner? What do you think are the most important too?
Oh, well, the most important, the characteristics or the duties?
Yeah, of the duties itself. What do you think are some of the most important things that we do in our day-to-day job duties?
Well, you are legislators. I mean, you are exactly who we were in Lansing as a state representative. You are co-equal. The executive is not in charge of you. You're not in charge of the executive. You are co-equal branches of government. That's who you are. Your main two things are budget, right, and policy. Those are the main two responsibilities of a legislator.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you. Commissioner Clark-Coleman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And thank you, Mary Waters, for being here today. You and I both served at the same time in Lansing, the State House. I went on to the Senate,
yes,
and you decided to come back home.
Well, you left me.
But anyhow, thank you for your desire to step up and serve the citizens of District 2. So my question has to do with those same constituents. I know that we are policymakers, and we have to do the budget and all of that. But I think that's only about 50% of, as far as I'm concerned, of our responsibility. I think the other 50% has to do with serving the people that elect us, that we represent.
That's right.
And so I would like to know, and I know that there's nobody that worked harder out there for her constituents other than the Honorable Jewel Ware. With seniors, with young folks, with everyone. I talk with her on a regular basis, and I know that whatever they called and asked her to do, she would make an effort to get it done. And she would, in all likelihood, she would get it done.
That's right.
So what is it that you can name specifically that you have done recently in the district with Commissioner Ware? Maybe you partnered with her, or you've done some things, on your own. But what are some of the things that you've recently done in that district to assist the people in District 2?
All right. Well, I do know that one of the main key issues that we worked on together happened to be Project Greenlight, because of security issues that the senior citizens were having. So Commissioner Ware, Commissioner Willie Burton, and I decided to team up because there were a number of senior citizens buildings throughout the area who were concerned about their security. So we went to work on it very, very hard. We teamed up and we made those kinds of things happen. Now, Commissioner Ware and I were always doing something from time to time as it relates to things in the district. You know, whether it was something going on at the Joseph Walker Williams Center, whether or not a senior citizen was having some other housing issue as it relates to heat, whatever the situation is. Sometimes, you know, we receive telephone calls from senior citizens who had say bed bug issues, that kind of thing. So I found myself often either calling MSHDA, calling HUD if necessary. Those are the kinds of things that I would do. And no matter what, I continued to do it even after I was term limited. And so Commissioner Ware and I used to serve seniors a lot of times. You know, she would give these really large senior events. I was always, for the most part, at many of those events, participating in the luncheons, serving the seniors, helping to give out raffles and so forth and so on. And so we had that type of relationship. You see, when Commissioner Ware first ran back in 1994, the first thing, well, when I ran in 1993 for the Charter Revision Commission, I was vice chair of the Charter Revision Commission. Commissioner Ware supported me. When she ran for the county commissioner in 1994, I supported her. And every year thereafter, whenever she ran for re-election, and I made a commitment to her. I said, you know, as long as you're the commissioner, number one, I'll never run against you, and I'll never support anybody else against you. And I kept my word. If she were here today, she would tell you, Mary kept her word. Because see, keeping your word means a lot. And so those are the kinds of things. And do we have our differences? Oh, yes, we did. Absolutely, we did. We didn't always agree on everything, you know, we just couldn't do it. But there were times, sometimes we wouldn't talk to each other. But when the chips were down, if I needed something, I could call up and I could say, Jewel, this is what I need. And we could have a conversation as if nothing ever happened. And the same thing with me. We had a special kind of love-hate kind of relationship, you know, that kind of thing. So, but yes, anytime that she did large events in the district, whatever she needed my help with, I was always there. Never, ever turned her down.
Okay, thank you, Mary, and thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. Next, we'll go over to Commissioner Varga. Commissioner Varga's on mute.
It can easily happen.
I followed directions. Good afternoon, Mary. The hardest question to ask a legislator is whether you have experience in preparing and analyzing budget. How do you feel that your experience could relate to our Wayne County budget?
Well, you know, as a state legislator, I did not sit on appropriation. Now, let me be the first to tell you that. I did not sit on appropriations in Lansing. However, I still had to review budgets, really huge budgets. There were times we would sit in the caucus room and look at budgets for hours and hours, that kind of thing. So that would be my experience with budgets. And when it comes to contracts, Commissioner, I didn't deal with those at all. But when I think about contracts and whether or not there are certain things that has to be in a contract, language, certain types of language, and whether or not a person, say for example, if a contract comes in and there's some sort of dispute amongst the commissioners, well, it could be a dispute as it relates to the language. It could be a dispute as it relates to the terms of the contract. There are times that a commissioner can handle that. There are times you might need legal advice. There might be other times that that particular contract has to be also go back to the CEO for review. So it depends on what the issues are. Now I can read, I'm happy that I can do that, but I cannot sit here today and say I have direct experience with procurement or I have direct experience on appropriations committee, but I can certainly read, and I can read certain line items and so forth and so on. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much. Last question. I think you stole some of his thunder, but Commissioner Basham, go ahead, sir.
Well, I'll be very laconic. And hi, Mary, how are you?
Hi.
As you all know, the county commission is a legislative body of government. And can you just sort of briefly tell us about reviewing contracts? I know you got some experience doing that. And also, can you also talk a little bit about how you'd handle a contract that you didn't agree with, that came from the administration, realizing that we have a separate role to play in county government, you know, the checks and balances part. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Okay, the checks and balances part. And that's a very, very important role for legislators, that there are checks and balances. And so, Commissioner, it really goes back again to what's really in that contract. What is it that we have differences on? And so it depends on those kinds of things, whether or not it would have to go for a legal review, or whether or not the commission can handle it, or whether or not the CEO can actually handle the situation with that particular contract. And so there are ways to certainly work things out. And if the commission gets to a point where we just simply cannot, the majority cannot agree, then I suppose we'll have to have somebody else make that decision. We call on the law department to help us out.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you so much. I will give you final words, Leader Waters. And in your final words, maybe discuss a little bit about if there are any policies that you see that there's a gap in that needs to be addressed in Wayne County. And you have about up to 5 minutes for your closing remarks.
Oh, wow, okay. All right, so the first thing, Madam Chairwoman, let me just say that I do appreciate this opportunity to talk with you all today, because you didn't have to give me this interview, but you did, and I do appreciate it. And I want you all to know that you will have in me a team player. I know how to be a team player. Whatever the needs are on the Wayne County Commission, I want you to know that I will be there as a team member 100%. Now, I don't give my word easily, but when I give it, I do keep it. I want you to know that. So you don't have to worry about a renegade running around over there at the Wayne County Commission. Just know that you have a team member, somebody who understands what public service is all about, because that's what it's all about, you know. And like I used to say to people when I was in Lansing, Madam Chair, it's about economics. So I spent a whole lot of my time helping people to get jobs, getting people to the table who would never ever have had an opportunity to even think about doing business with the state of Michigan. I brought them to the table because that was part of my responsibility. Now, I believe that the Wayne County Commission has a role in the public relations narrative in defining who we are, and not necessarily leave it up to the executive. That is my belief. And so I think that the Wayne County Commission, you know, recently during this election, we had all of those attacks on Wayne County, and sometimes calling this Wayne County a county of criminals and so forth, you know. And I think that the commission can play an important role in addressing those issues. Let's let people know who we are as Wayne County. Let's help to educate both the people here in Michigan and the people in particular at the federal level. And if we are able to do that, then I believe that we can get a lot more out of Washington, D.C. on behalf of Wayne County. Now, Madam Chair, I know that you're busy with NACO and those kinds of things, you know, but I also believe that there's just a little bit more work that we can do as it relates to Wayne County. Hey, let's tell them all the good things about Wayne County. We can make those kinds of things happen. And I just those are some things that I observed in the recent months, you know, and I just said, oh, okay, well, maybe there's some things that we can do about it as a commission. Now, in light of what happened to our loving departed sheriff, I think that there are more things that we can do, the commission can do as it relates to COVID-19. That we're losing a lot of lives in Wayne County as it relates to COVID-19. And I believe that the commission can come up with a very important role to play and let people know, hey, we're equal branches, we're co-equal branches of government, and we're not just gonna allow the CEO to tell you about all the wonderful things in Wayne County. We're gonna do that ourselves. So I think that would be something really, really nice to do. Those are just some things that came to my mind. So I wanted to share that with you guys. I want to leave you with just a couple of things. And I'm glad that you all had an open ear when it came to me and some of the things that I've shared with you. I'm a hard worker. I believe in coming to work. I believe in getting the job done. Public service is one of the highest honors that the people can bestow upon you. The highest honor. And I do not take that lightly. So I want you all to know that public service means a lot to me. You see, I have a job. I do. But public service is a passion of mine. So I want to be able to come over there and work with you all. And you all would be so happy that you chose me. And let me tell you this. As a state representative, when I was there, I managed to save Wayne County Community College from financial severity. They were after the college, going after the college. The other thing that I managed to do, I played a very important role when they decided to do the airport authority. I wanted to make sure that the Wayne County commissioners still had a voice in that Wayne County airport. I sat on that committee, took a beating from Democrats and Republicans, but I just kept offering up amendments as it relates to the Wayne County Commission. I also saved businesses here in the city of Detroit, 2 insurance companies that the state was going to close. They had shut them down. I stepped in, met with some people. We went through it, we had our battles, but we ended up saving those insurance companies right here in the city of Detroit / Wayne County. So I want to thank you again for this opportunity. And I do appreciate your time. And I want you all to know that anytime that if you have any questions after today, I want you to please do not hesitate to call me if there's anything that I need to clarify. Because I love it when people just are direct with me. I used to always tell my staff, listen, don't be afraid of me. Talk to me. I want to know what's on your mind. And you know, as I mentioned that, I just felt some pain come over me because one of my former staffers who was in Lansing, she just died a couple of days ago. She was a great writer, really smart person. I don't know if you knew her, Commissioner Irma Clark Coleman, but Sherry Davy. And so she just passed away a couple of days ago. So I wanted to share that with you all. And so thanks again. Remember, you have a public servant in me. That's what I'm all about. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Thank you again so much, Leader Waters. We appreciate you taking your time. We appreciate you being of interest in this position and all of your years of public service. We thank you so much.
It looks like,
Can you hear me? There you go. Here I am.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to find a coffee shop to go to, it appears. But again, thank you, Leader Waters, for your time today. Thank you for your interest. Thank you for your desire to continue in your public service work that you've done for so many years. We just are grateful that you applied for this, and you will hear from us within the next 48 hours. So again, thank you so much, Mary. It was so good to see you.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
All right, Madam Clerk, next item, please.
Public comments.
Okay, at this time, we will have public comments and may need some assistance because now I am on my phone. So if there are any one in the chat, if Octavia or Pam, if you could identify anyone in the chat who's raised their hand, I will take public comments from the chat first. You have 1 minute for your comment. Public comments is not a point where we go back and forth, but we listen to your comment and appreciate you joining us this afternoon. So Pam or Octavia, if you can see who's up for, who's raised their hand.
Chair Bill, we have Mr. Eric Brown. I'm sorry, Chair Bill, we have Mr. Eric Brown with his hand raised.
Okay, Mr. Brown, go ahead, sir.
Okay, good afternoon again. I just want to reiterate, first of all, I'm making a point to do these interviews over the next couple of days because I just have a very strong intention as it relates to, there were 45,000 people that voted on November the 3rd, over 45,000 that voted for people that are on a ballot. And I just feel that this process is a disenfranchisement of their voice as well as a form of voter suppression. There was an opportunity for those to have put their names on the ballot previously. And I think a special election would be the only way to resolve this. To have an elected body make the decision for the electorate is just not fair. I know that's in the charter for Wayne County. I'm a Wayne County resident. But after this, seeing this process, as well as I live in Detroit, but seeing the process of, DPS in the past, there has to be a plan in place to revise the charter of Wayne County because this process, in my opinion, just is not fair.
Chair Bill, you're muted.
Alicia, unmute yourself.
Thank you. I was trying to decrease the feedback. Thank you, Mr. Brown. We appreciate your comment. Is there
Excuse
anyone
me.
else from the public who would wish to comment at this time?
There's
Yes,
Ms. Brenda Hill.
Can you
Brenda
hear
Hill?
me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Again, good afternoon and happy new year to everyone, and stay safe and stay healthy, mask up. Also, I would like to reiterate what I said this morning. Jewel Ware never took her seat that you are interviewing for, so that's different than the part of the charter that you are referencing to use to do these interviews. And a lot of these questions that are being asked does not really fulfill what we need to know about a county commissioner. Whether Jewel liked you or not, or worked with you, are not the correct questions to find out whether a person is qualified for this position. And like Eric just said, people just voted, and their votes are just thrown out. We're in a time where voter suppression and voter fraud is being thrown around, and I don't think Wayne County should be a part of that. Those voices should be heard, and we should have a special election as soon as March, no later than May. And I appreciate you for letting me have this time. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Excuse me, can anyone hear me? I don't know how to
Yes.
raise my hand
Go ahead.
on Zoom.
Give
Okay,
your name, please, for the record.
okay, my name is Belinda Howard Baker. I've been an activist for the city of Detroit for over 50 years. I'm here today in support of Beverly Kendall Walker for District 2 and the Wayne County Commission. I knew Jewel Ware myself, and in 2019, my daughter has an organization in that same district, and it's for children, you know, for adults too. But Jewel provided all of the children tickets to the Tiger game. She also gave us the little coupons to go to the Equestrian Center on Chandler Park. And let me say this too, my wording might be kind of jumbled. My wording might be kind of. Am I still on?
Yes,
Okay,
you are. Can we mute everyone except for the speaker, please?
my speech might be a little kind of messed up, son, because I lost my husband Christmas Day. And I also like to say Happy New Year to everybody. I've been knowing Beverly Kendall Walker for over 15 years. And Beverly Kendall Walker is a people person. If you could be standing at a bus stop and you can just be, I love to talk politics. If I mention her name, somebody at the bus stop knows Beverly Kendall Walker, and they know her for all over Wayne County. Beverly cares about the people. And if anybody has a question that they need an answer to of any Wayne County or the city of Detroit, you can always direct them to Beverly Kendall Walker. I would always tell Beverly, I wish I had as much energy as you have. Put it in a bottle and give me some of it. She's here, there, and everywhere. And her heart is always for the people. And it's so hard to find people who really care about people, because we have so many selfish people out here in the world. And you all will be very proud to select Beverly Kendall Walker as one of your commissioners, because she
Thank you so much.
I am long-winded, but thank you.
Thank you. We
You all have
appreciate
a
your
great
comment.
day. I'm sending love. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Okay. Do we have another person on Zoom or on the telephone for public comments?
Looks like we have a Mr. Keith Hines, Chair Bill.
Okay, Mr. Hines.
Yes, hello. Hi, how's everyone doing today?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing just great. I've known Beverly Kendall Walker for years, and what a resume she posted. She has such a long history of achievements as a public servant. It's hard to believe that anyone can come close to Beverly's historic achievements, and she still continues these achievements to achieve to this day. What is most interesting about Beverly and her history is that Beverly's history and adventures also got to add accomplishments in there. They parallel to the loved one Jewel Ware. They go way back in years as being friends and good friends and associates, all the way back to the inner city subcenter. You know, it would be only fitting that you succeed her, you know, by the appointment of Beverly to the position of Wayne County Commissioner. In the future, as elections time come, you know, she will definitely have my vote. So that's guaranteed there. To fill the position of commissioner requires a person that has a proven public history of being trusted and for the people and with the commission and its operations. Beverly Kendall Walker has always worked for the city and the county with the best for the residents, with the people first, always first.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hines, for your
important
comment.
as a key player with the skills, knowledge, experience, and wisdom to fulfill the position. The position that we need to fill requires a person already gifted with the necessary skills to hit the ground running, you might say. So
Thank you so much, Mr. Hines, for your comment. That I'll let you go for 2 minutes. Thank you, sir.
Oh, wow. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
There's also someone calling in from a Galaxy S9 phone.
Okay, whoever that is on the telephone, please give your name and begin your comment. I don't know if you need to unmute them or not.
They're unmuted, Chair.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Chair Bell, and to this
Hello.
honorable commission. This is Commissioner Daryl Brown,
Hello.
from the Board of Police Commissioners. First, I'd like to say the task that you guys have is a daunting task because Commissioner Ware could never be replaced, but I know you have the task of filling the seat. And I just wanted to commend you on following the charter and following the rules of Greene County with your selection process. I know that I've listened to a lot of the comments and I know people are not in agreement with it, but they should understand that you guys should be commended for following the process. And I think you're doing an outstanding job with it. And I thank you for it. And that's my comment.
Oh, thank you so much, sir. I appreciate that. Thank you, Commissioner. Any additional public comments before we adjourn? Any additional? Your hand?
I see Marie Thornton's hand up.
Okay. Marie Thornton?
Unmute yourself, Marie.
Unmute yourself. And then after Marie Thornton, we'll have Ms. Walker. Go ahead, Marie.
Okay. Happy holiday to everyone, and thank you for allowing me to speak. I live in District 2, and so I think I have something to say about the next Wayne County Commissioner that you're about to appoint. In addition, my son is also a Wayne County Deputy Sheriff. So, you know, my condolence to Benny Napoleon family as you all go forth. The person that I see out here, and I can say this because I'm an elected precinct delegate and I received the highest votes in this area. I got over 400 votes in District 2. The person that I'm looking for has to be experienced, knowledgeable, and have a track record of helping the community. And I can truly say that Beverly Kendall Walker is such that person. And now I'm also confused because Mary Waters is out there. And I have seen her out there. And I can say this as an elected precinct delegate. Who is out in our community and who do we see out there? And I suggest that when you go to decide who to appoint, that you consider those two individuals. I see names on there and they haven't did anything. Some came from under, they ran for office and then they went under a rock and now they back out again. I don't want them individual. It either got to be Mary Waters or it got to be Beverly Kendall Walker. And thank you for allowing me to say that. And I'll learn how to use this Zoom. You know, this Zoom's something else.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
But good seeing you all.
Good seeing you too. Happy New Year. Good seeing you, Marie. Next, Ms. Walker. Is there Ms. Walker? I think she had her hand up.
Hi.
Hello. There you go. Hello, how are you? This is Ms. Walker?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, commissioners. My name is Beulah Walker. I am a community activist, and I'm also a water warrior here in the city of Detroit. I want to express my concerns about the process of this appointment. From my understanding that the Wayne County Commissioners have their own set of rules and bylaws that they operate off of. But what I have found in my 23 years of being a community activist, for some reason, we are slowly getting away from Robert's Rules of Order. And from my understanding, Robert Rules of Order in the election process, it will be the next highest vote getter. And another thing I would like to see, and a problem that I have had, and this is no disrespect to my elders, because if it wasn't for my elders, I wouldn't be here. I would like to see the younger generation come in and take over. There's no way at the age of 46, I felt like I felt when I was 36. When I was 36, I didn't feel like I felt when I was 26. So I would love to see our elders pass the baton on to the younger generation so we can have a more progressive agenda, a more progressive policy with Wayne County and Black and brown people as a whole. And I hope that these comments are not disrespectful or hurtful to my elders, but I would like to see younger people take the lead.
Thank you, Ms. Walker. Thank you so much for your comment. Is there anyone else on the telephone or on Zoom for public comment? Any other hand raised? Anyone on the phone? I'm trying to go through. Okay, I don't see anyone else. So at this time, do I need to recess or adjourn, Pam?
I thought you were gonna recess.
Okay, so we'll recess so at this time, we will recess until 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, where we will continue with our interviews. We have 5 interviews on tomorrow, the first beginning at 10 a.m. Thank everyone who participated in this Zoom.
Everybody.
And thank you for the commissioners. We appreciate you. And at this time, we are in recess until tomorrow at 10 a.m. Thank you.